Town Council session on January 17th, 2024, that the pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Session on January 17th, 2024, that the pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. We ask that you be with us as council people, that we will come together and agree for the best things for the town of Wilson needs. Be with us as we make decisions, lead and guide us. In Jesus' name I pray. Fourth item on the agenda, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion was made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilman Brown. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The next item is the approval of the minutes of our last council meeting on December 18th. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Councilman McGowan made a motion to approve the minutes. Councilman Brown seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? At this time, we will open the meeting to our first open forum. If you want to speak, please come to the podium, write your name, address, and limit to 3 minutes if possible. And be sure to cut on the mic.
First was, I may have more than 3 minutes, about 15. I know that seems excessive, but I've been very patient with the town. I have some pretty urgent news and kind of a little aggravated. I really want to be heard. I don't think 3 minutes will cover it because I have to go back to a few different evidence reports that I'd like to share. Is that possible? I know that seems excessive, but you know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm not trying to show off. I am a Purple Heart veteran and I would like to be heard if possible. And I feel like 15 minutes should be sufficient for that.
There.
I was going to say, let's hear what you have to say, and we'll see. If I deem that I need to stop,
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
I just have a point of order, Mayor. If we could at least determine the topic.
well,
Yes, I'm gonna go over it. My topic is JT Auto Repair off of Swift Creek. I asked in the minutes prior to
Can you state your name for the record?
Sean Hanlon.
and your
Sorry.
address.
124 Waiver Court. So I asked in these minutes right here, which I do want to recall that are not accurate and then fully get stated and printed correctly. Maybe there was an accident and then fully everything get taught. I know that happens. I just want to state that as a record. So I have an issue with the lights and I asked, which was documented, for them to be motioned. And the reason why they're motioned is because they aggravate me and my condition. So I asked politely to have them motioned and that motion was ignored. And so that's why I'm a bit aggravated, because it wasn't even put in the reports or anything like that. We also asked for a fence all the way around, which another neighbor asked for, and that part is in the notes. And we have yet to see a full fence all the way around. We're a little bit nervous because he has an excessive amount of cars. So we were a little bit concerned about that too, because it's older model vehicles. So they don't start normal. They're not just a switch out part here and there, you have to pour gasoline sometimes in the carburetor, and that can cause a fire. So we were a little bit concerned with the excessive amount of cars there. The fire truck can't fully get through, and then our house is around woods and trees and stuff, and it's protected wetlands. So we're a bit nervous about that, because, you know, it's our cherished memories. If it gets burned up, they're gone. You know, we can have all the insurance we want in the world, but, you know, if our stuff gets burnt up, it's gone. Pictures, whatever, whatever family member that you might have. So I was just a bit aggravated because I had contacted Miss Wendy several times. Our last conversation ended with, "Don't talk to me no more, call my lawyer," like the town's lawyer, and I called 2 times at least. And I got receiving a phone call back. So I'm not sure. It was directly, his secretary, so it might have been a mistake. I'm not blaming him, mistakes happen. But what I'm saying is, who do I contact about complaints? Who do I contact if I have complaints and I go talk to JT Auto Repair? But I thought the whole point of talking to Miss Wendy or whoever is I complain my concerns to y'all, and y'all are supposed to protect us as a community. And, you know, and contact him and tell him, you know, hey, this is what's going on. The community is, you know, upset about this. Can we possibly fix this? But what's happening now is this gentleman's bullying neighbors, because he called me the other day looking for a neighbor, that another neighbor is complaining about the lights and the amount of cars and lack of fence. So he's calling me personally. What kind of bully neighbors can't try and have me contact these neighbors, where they live, all this other stuff.
What do you mean by bullying?
Well, if he's trying to force his way, you know, because he doesn't want to put the fence up. The town's already given an extension until March again to put a fence up. There's been multiple extensions for a lot of things. So the issue is, why would we allow him to come in without our community being protected? Because also I found out, which this one's not in the notes, because I did ask, and I'm very, very clear. If he was ever robbed or anything like that, he said no. But then when I had a conversation with him on the phone, he said the reason part of the moving is they've been broken into multiple times. So the lack of research on the town to allow like someone to come in without fully doing the research is a little concerning to me as well. Granted, it's just hearsay. I have to go to Wake County, pull police records and stuff like that, so I can show you. You know, I don't want to, it's just hearsay for now. But if it's true and he did have a bunch of break-ins, it should be out there in the police records. So I'm gonna go look for him. So I can show y'all. It's not to kick him out or do anything like that, but really we just want to make sure that the community around us is protected, because there's no fence and the lights are shining in our eyes and all this other stuff. Like in my bedroom, lights coming through into my bedroom. How does that feel? You know, no other place, not the construction place across the street from who has that extreme lights. Not the concrete company, Strickland's, I think it's called, doesn't have hardly any lights. The taxidermy has hardly any lights. And the only person that has lights is that, the warehouse, but their lights are pointing down. He promised us that we have reflectors and lights facing down. The only reflectors on the building are on one side of the building, but the back side and the far side where his main garage doors are, there's no reflectors. So these lights are shining in people's property. And we've asked several times for the lights to get turned down. He did finally turn down the main floodlights. I mean, they're down, but I want to give this man a chance. I'm aggravated, so I want all the lights to get adjusted accordingly before I say, I don't think that's good enough, because I did ask for motion. But I don't want to be rude or disruptive to him too, because he's trying to make money. And I didn't fight him moving in. I just thought that our privacy and our land didn't get affected. One gentleman did state that, this is hearsay. I have to come back with evidence, which I promise you I will. I promise you I will. It says his land did go down, due to that building being built. Because the original, and this is in the notes, said we wouldn't be able to see the building because it'll be offensive. This building is double the size originally was spoke to be. Does that make, I know this is, I'm not trying to get rid of the gentleman. What all I'm trying to do is make it convenient and safe for the community as well. Because it's a capitalist country, you know, y'all approved it, and I didn't fight it for him not to move in. I just fought it for him to respect the community because he moved into a residential area. And so these lights are affecting the residential people. The lack of fences is an issue because you have kids out there. He has cars. What if one of these kids gets stuck in the car over the weekend and they don't know? You don't get locked in because of older cars. So lack of fence is a big deal all the way around. You're like, I don't want to see anyone get killed over something silly like that. I had a kid from my hometown, which was the snow, and he shut the door and didn't think about it. And he died of carbon monoxide poisoning. Because accidents do happen. And it, like accidents happen.
Have you got, I mean, you keep going over the same thing over and over. I mean, we get it, we want the light, but what else?
Well, we want to fence all the way around.
And I know there was a problem with that because it's got to be redone. I mean, it happened all in the.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that, the fire truck can be fully go all the way through, because like I said, the woods.
That's part of the final project. It's not been finalized yet.
No, I understand that, and I'm here to kind of talk to y'all with it and just express my concern.
So
The other concern is also the lack of drain pans underneath their vehicle. Because he said that, you know, his vehicles don't leak, but these aren't the vehicles. They're very nice vehicles, but there's some rusters, and if we're on protected wetlands.
I think what you need to do is to make a list of all the things that you think's wrong. List them. Right. Not verbal, in writing.
Well,
And bring it to the planning board.
the planning department won't speak to me, no matter who I talk to.
Man, back.
You.
Can I interject? I just have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
With all of these things, we certainly, as we know, are not conducting a hearing here, so there's
No, that's correct.
no guilt or innocence, there's no fact finding or anything like that. So my question to you is, you have legitimate concerns, I understand that, and I do recall some of those things when that gentleman came in here initially. Have you taken any of these to our town administrator? She is the lady who handles all of this.
Yes, sir.
Well, overseas,
Talked to Miss
No, no,
Wendy over the
No,
phone.
not Ms. Wendigo. No, I'm talking about the administrator, the lady who runs our town.
That's.
I didn't know who to talk to, all I was told
Okay.
was to talk to Miss Wendy,
I-
because when I walked in, I came in with my son, I was
Okay.
told that.
I would suggest-
I apologize if I went.
I was, hold on, I would suggest you do exactly what the mayor said. Write all of this down in a legible and logical sequence. And then take, and whatever evidence you may have, and then make an appointment and go sit down with Leanna Worley. She is our town administrator, and let her handle it with her employees if she needs to, or if she can answer your question. I appreciate you bringing it before us, because it's nice that we know things that are happening, and this is a very, of great importance to you and probably your neighbors, but like I said, we're just listening, we don't have to make comments, and it's not a hearing. So I would suggest you do what the mayor says, and then take it to Leanna, am I correct, Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I said I think it needs to be in writing. I mean, these complaints need to be in writing. So that we'll know exactly what we're talking about. Because we can't look at it, and see anything, and then Leanna can decide
We gotta get bring pictures next time as well.
if you have a list.
I'll do that.
Not to me, not to the county.
Yeah, all of it, not to us. You, if there, if anything comes, if anything needs to be brought to before the council again regarding this, that's for Ms. Ward to do after she speaks with you. If he needs our help with something, that's when it comes out. But right now, you need to, remember the old chain of command? Right there.
Yes, sir, I just was, maybe they
That's
both
fine.
weren't there that day, and I spoke with
No, that's fine.
another lady, and she referred me to Miss
Yeah, we're
Wendy.
not chastising you whatsoever. I'm glad you brought it to us. Now we're aware of it because we do recall that gentleman coming before us, but Ms. Worley is the one that can answer your questions and handle this for you.
Can I ask one more small thing? So this is still open to change, or is this all already?
That's all through Ms. Ward.
Okay.
Okay?
And I have one other thing off topic that I was told to bring up for the meeting. I heard we're trying to bring up sports teams and stuff like that, and my idea was to bring up, because we're gonna have a lot of people, new people in the community. And there's a lack of this in North Carolina. And where we have universities and stuff like that, I think we should try really hard to implement, girls field hockey. Girls,
Can I make a suggestion to you? We have an events committee in this town that needs, we're just now going to look at approving 2 other people for it tonight. You would be a very welcome candidate to join that and see what you can do to bring that to fruition.
yes, sir, I just wanted to bring it up, I'll look into it, it's an idea because I haven't seen it in North Carolina yet, but UNC is a D1, field hockey, and so is, Duke and stuff like that, so it would bring people to the town, outsiders, so like Carrie, all those people would come to Wilson Mills to play that.
Well, we'd like that too. So bring that up to Ms. Worley and she'll give you a form to fill out to, have your nomination come before us. How's that?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, thank you for all this.
Thank you very much.
Be sure you write your name and address on that form.
Yes, yes, sir.
Anyone else wishing to come forward? I close the first open forum. And because I have spent the last several days, weeks in the hospital with my husband, and thank you all for your back support of me, and he is at home doing better. I don't have a whole lot to report. I did, host the, mayor's meeting this month with the help of my staff. I would have never been able to do it without the staff helping me, but, we did have it at town hall and they were very impressed with our new town hall. But, that's about the only thing I've done, because I have spent the majority of the last 20-some days in the hospital with Donald. So, but thank you all for your support and your prayers. He is doing better. So, yeah.
The first item that I have on the agenda is the sewer tap fee policy. This came up previously in another meeting. Can you hear me? Okay. When there are certain situations when the property owner's sewer tap becomes unusable, for instance, the property beside of our town hall. And these are really limited situations, just because for one thing, we didn't have a lot of taps. We don't have a lot of people left and have it hooked up. We felt like if we're going to make an exception for one property owner, we needed to have it in the policy, because we have private property owners who just move into a residence that decide they don't want it, and that's not an option for residential areas or a private home. So the sewer tap waiver policy that's in your packet is a draft, and I apologize, the date on it is not correct. We were looking at this at the end of last year. We'll fix that if you decide to approve it. But it basically states that it only applies to properties that are being utilized for commercial or industrial uses or a subdivision. And they would have to apply for this waiver to give us reasons as to why they want to no longer use those taps, or that they're not able to according to the county.
So can I interrupt you? Sure. So you're going to have an application that they would have to fill out, so you would have the information? I mean, would there be something on file for that? I mean,
Yes.
how's that? I mean,
Yes, it would just, usually when somebody calls in or asks about it, they're either a private resident who doesn't want to pay the bill because they've just moved in and realized that it happens. That's not applicable. Or it's somebody who has come to planning with a development, and for whatever reason, the taps aren't usable because of what the county has required them to do with their water and sewer.
So that would sort of be like a part of the application fee for a commercial. Right.
Well, it would be, I mean, there wouldn't be a thing for it.
I
They
mean,
just,
an application.
yeah, they would just fill out the application if they are requesting to not pay this fee any longer because they aren't usable. We review it, say yes or no. That would basically be it. So, we have the policy in place, so.
What I wanted to be sure of, it would be something that we could look back and say, okay, this was granted, because that's, we did, and I think sometimes it would come back. Such a need,
Sure.
needed part of an application, some, I don't know how to word that, but.
There will be an application.
I remember us discussing this. And we agreed on the need for it. I've read through it, I like everything I see in there, everything we discussed, so, I don't know if everybody else has read it, but to move things along, I make a motion to approve the town rules and fill sewer tap waiver policy as written.
Motion made by Councilman McGowan to approve the policy, seconded by Councilman Brown, all in favor? All opposed?
The next item that I have is the review of the draft work session schedule. Last month, we did talk about considering adding an additional work session meeting every month. And again, these meetings are still open to the public, however, there are no action items, no open forum or formalities, that type of thing. It is strictly a work session for you to kind of drill down deeper onto a lot of the projects that you've got going on. And as I stated in the request for action, during the months between now and June, I feel like it would be really helpful to use those as your budget sessions as well, because you're gonna get into each department and each project is gonna bring up conversations about the upcoming budget and grants and things like that. So, we have looked at the fourth month of the month for a few reasons. One, the planning board also meets that evening here. And then that would allow other staff that are already gonna have to be at that to not have to work over another night. But it also would allow you to, if you met at 4:30, all the pickup cars would be gone from school and your meeting shouldn't last very long, and then yet they can go right into the planning board meeting afterwards. Those are suggestions, so I'm open for discussion about it. I put a draft schedule in your packets so that we have a starting point. So, and we already have items that we want to put on the January meeting.
I like it because every year when it's budget time, everybody's looking at the calendars and this just kind of locks it in. Everybody works around that calendar, instead of us working around individual calendar.
And you're saying that it will be combined with the budget sections that we are having. Just have this.
I would think that would be what you would want to do, just because we're already going to be discussing items such as that, and between now and May or June, there's no reason to have 3 meetings a month. This is going to be, the budget will be pretty much the main topic between now and May anyway, so I think so. And if 4:30 doesn't work, I started at 4:30 because I know that's when we can get in here after the car riders are gone. The planning board meeting starts at 7. So if for the ones who work during the day wanted to make it later than 4:30, we could do that and just make sure that we're done a little before 7, so they can start with the planning board meeting. These are just suggestions, so. Discuss it. Especially the ones that work, you know, 'cause I know that there are 3 of them that still work during the day. And you have scheduling to think about too.
Well, bring it up for discussion. Let's go ahead and do this. I'll make a motion to approve the council regular work session meeting schedule 2024 as presented.
Councilman McDowell made the motion, Councilman, Donovan seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'll have to, a lot of rearranging about the second, third, fourth meeting, February, March, April. I'm working, so I'll have to be at least 30-45 minutes late.
What time did you put it?
At least 5 o'clock.
I mean, I would think that if you're doing these each month, in addition to your regular council meeting, if you wanted to start it at 5:30 and you had a little over an hour before the planning board meeting starts, I mean, most of our budget sessions don't last longer than that anyway.
Could you just?
That's what I was getting. So we can all, yeah, do 5:30, and we'll just have to hold it to an hour.
Well, the thing about it is, if we're doing it at 5:30 and there's something that we need to carry over, then we can do that. And so the special discussion, I'm not focused on.
So I'll go ahead and, withdraw my additional motion and,
We can move.
I am, well,
Yes, sir.
the policy, I make a motion that we approve the council regular and work session meeting schedule for 2024 as amended.
5:30, correct?
Now,
So that is our first week on.
we have this motion on the table that we are approving our work sessions from January through December for 2024, and the starting time will be 5:30. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Now,
Again, we do have a couple of things already for the January work session. They both have to do with budgets, grant money and police department. So those, probably what I'll do is about a week beforehand, I'll send out a short agenda for these email, and we'll have it on the website as well. But, again, these are informal meetings. They're public, but they are informal. There is no public forum and there is no action taken. So we reserve it for these sessions. The next item that I have is the Chamber Upfit Design Build Award. In your packet, I sent you a timeline of what has gone on since we sent out the second round of requests for qualifications. They went out on December 8th. They were due in by December 29th. And we did include in the RFQ an offer to extend the deadline due to the holidays, but we did not receive any requests for an extension. Someone did ask us what date that would be, and then they wound up saying, well, we can go ahead and get it in time. So we received 2 qualified submissions from Stevenson General Contractors and 310 Architecture and Interiors. Both were within that deadline, the 29th. We reviewed both submissions and we held interviews with both on January 8th and the 10th. And on the 9th, we received an email from the first one, Stevenson General Contractors, that let me know that their firm was going to have to back out due to staffing shortages. And we had discussed in the interview what we wanted our timeline to be. It was basically yesterday. And they are not going to be able to get started on this in probably 6 to 8 months. So they backed out altogether.
where is this company located?
310 is from Raleigh. They're based in Raleigh, but they have groups within their firm that work all around the state. And they also have groups within their firm that specialize in certain types of work that they do, a few of which are local governments. And I've got their full RFQ here. I didn't put in the packet because it was large. But I did put the summary and the scoring review in your packet. And the only reason that they scored lower, the max points for their experience and qualifications would have been 55, and they scored a 51. Most of it was because the 3 particular people that we would be dealing with did not have a lot of town or municipality work experience. It was mostly county or state agency work. But after the fact, we talked with them, and all of the groups that they have within their firm pitch into all the projects. So they have specific projects that need expertise in one area or another, and they've got that to pull from. They also didn't have any listed reference contact information, so we weren't able to actually reach out to their references. And again, since then, we have looked into the references that they listed for the different state agencies, all came back positive. So all of the other scoring was perfect as far as their understanding and approach during the interview. They were very thorough in their questions and everything that they asked about the project timeline. They gave us a really good timeline, and so this is who we recommend. It is up to you as to whether or not you want to award it with it being the last submission, or if you want to put it out again for a third submission. Okay, pretty much.
What's the cost? Cost.
We don't have costs yet. These are qualification submissions, so we would choose what we felt would be the most qualified because it is a multi-project, multi-area project, architecture, design. They will do the construction bidding. Of course, we'd be at the table, but they would handle all of that. So once we approve who we want to do it, then they draw up the contract. We bring it back to you all for approval, and that includes pricing for each part of it. And if you decide, even though if you were to award this to them tonight, if you decide when you get to the contract part of it that it's more than you want, it's gonna be more than. But if you decide that you want to do something different at that point, you can, and you're not bound.
So you haven't signed it. So do y'all want her to move forward with 310 architect and materials?
I'd make a motion to, pass it on the award. But I would say select, upfit project, to give us a bid on completing the council chamber.
Attorney, please explain that, how that needs to be worded.
Yeah, you're selecting, there's, right, I mean, I'll maybe them down a little bit. You're selecting 310 architecture and interiors, to do your design build contractors and critical process. But kind of really do my part there.
But they won't be bidding on it. The request for qualifications states that should they get to the point of the contract, it's conditional upon approval with council. Meaning, even though we select them, they write a contract, if it comes to you and you don't like it, you don't approve it, they don't give it work.
Well, I retract that formal motion, and I make a motion that, we do upfit, with 310 architecture and interiors to submit a, as a design build contract. Second.
Councilman Brown made the motion. Councilman Jernigan seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hold on, we are on top. We'll ask. All in favor? All opposed?
Also, just so you're clear on the timeline for us. We'll do a kickoff meeting sometime next week with them. We'll let them know that they received it. We'll do a kickoff meeting. They should have a contract with pricing due back to us by the beginning of February. So in your February 12th meeting, you'll be looking at that. So by next month, I should have some price.
Well, yeah, I'll just, when you sit down with them, I'll just ask him what their projection is as far as completion.
It will be in the contract. It will be in the contract. The only other item that I have is not on the agenda, is a reminder. I think Emily sent out an email to everybody about your ethics training. And I just want to remind you again that it is, general statute that you have the ethics training done. Even if you've been on the board for years and years, every time you're elected, you have to do this, and it's only, was it an hour and a half?
Up to the hours.
Online, And you can do it at home, or you can do it there in the conference room at town hall. Easy peasy, but we gotta have a piece of paper so that you are, legal. If you have any questions, let us know, but, she'll be sending that out, I think it's gonna be in May.
And it's very, very informative. I mean, you get a lot of answers for a lot of questions.
And that's all I have for you.
One of the first things that was on here was the annexation, public hearing. Now we time to address that. The hearing will be postponed until February. I think it should be a council action.
Okay, yeah, there was a memo in your, I think you did a memo in your chat that said.
Yeah, just do a time certain, so that it'll be February.
Okay, if we, what we're talking about is what we want to packet, so we need a motion to postpone this public hearing to our February meeting. Councilman Durham has made the motion, Councilman Brown seconded, all in favor of postponing the public hearing from this meeting to February, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Yeah, and just for clarification, that was for the public hearing for the annexation part for the 17-80288.
Leanne? Okay. Ms. Sherry?
Good evening, council. In your package, you have your finance report for December 23. Do you have any questions?
Gary, I don't think that is. They're easy questions, so, you ready?
Sure.
Got it, fine. Page 101 of expenditures, which is probably about 3 or 4 pages back, and it's under police. I'd just like if you could just further elaborate on, maintenance of vehicles, 148%, and employee training, 240%.
On the maintenance vehicles, I had asked the chief this same thing, and he relayed to me, it was the cars are now starting to get the mileage on them where they're having a lot of maintenance. He had even said to me that Aaron's car had something majorly wrong with it, but being it was so young, he wanted to get it fixed, and so he had it fixed. And it was, yeah, that amount of astronomical, but at any rate, and then too, you have to figure in the fact that we have more vehicles now than what we did 5 years ago. And so the more vehicles, the more money.
Well, I'm just hoping that when he gives us, as Emily indicated next month, he'll give us the report of the downtown, like, chief's meeting.
Right.
So he gives us a report that, we can see what's in there, and we would hopefully be able to anticipate for our next budget some of these things. So we're not looking at 148%,
Right.
that we know that vehicle number, whatever, 15 is getting really old. So, I'd just like to see the budget a little bit more reflective of what we actually do instead of having to do, budget amendments.
Exactly.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, employee training, the second thing is.
Yes, that was, it was unexpectedly, but, I'll start thinking, he had gotten into a course, can't remember, it was out of town, but it was like an FBI course. And so, unbeknown to Sergeant Barton, that he was going to be accepted as well, because everybody was on the waiting list. And so whenever they both went to that, Sergeant Barton was accepted, both went to that unexpectedly and had like, expenditures, and they had to pay for the course and things of that nature. So that's the reason why I happened.
Okay.
But in employee training, hey, that's good.
Well, I'm just saying, it's something that you would think that we could be able to anticipate.
Right.
Once again, the second page over there, public works, maintenance of buildings and grounds, that's a big percentage, so.
Yeah, we have had numerous streets down, and At first, we were, whenever we, well, let me start that. At first, whenever these trees went down, Patrick would rent the equipment to get these trees up.
Right.
Then we found it much easier to actually, instead of renting the equipment, and we hired a contractor to get all the trees up. If you recall the storms last week, we lost in more. So it's just, I mean, it was just maintenance and on the grounds and buildings. And so we've had some unexpected costs on the building as well. We've replaced some locks and things of that nature. And also we went into a yearly contract for pest control. And that's in that same line.
Out of curiosity, if I back my car into a door and that needs to be repaired, does that come under maintenance of buildings and grounds?
If you back your car.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I damaged, a town building. What I'm trying to say is, when we have maintenance of buildings and grounds, right now, I'm wondering if we can separate that out, because it includes everything in the new town hall campus, okay? And that's what I'm referring to by back into a door, and also anywhere in the town. Is there some way that?
Not so much anywhere in the town, not so much anywhere in the town. I mean,
Well, when he takes down, when he removes trees that have fallen.
Right.
That could be, on Fire Department Road, or it could be in the town hall campus.
no, if it happens at town hall campus, and don't forget too, we have PD grounds to keep
Right.
up, and we had, what was it cost, Leon, if you can remember? Was it like almost $4,000 to have that water line replaced of that, PD? That's in that bill, and you have to keep in mind, council, that whenever we did this budget last year, and I want to say this too, as far as, the budget amendment that's in here. In my financial brain, I could not fathom having to do this budget, going in at blindside, not knowing what we're going to face. Once we obtained the new building, what the expenditures were, all the unknowns were there. And now it's coming into play.
So then, the next budget this coming year, we'll be able to have a better feel for a lot.
I'm certainly hoping so,
Okay,
yes.
so let me move on. I think that's the last one.
Let me just clarify too, that a lot of these expenditures are one-time costs.
Right.
Our budget isn't gonna be $24,000 for maintenance, for building and maintenance. So just don't think that we're going into next year's budget with this kind of money in it. This was, like you said, the trees were down, we have a new pest control. We had to install lighting at the new building. The water line busted at the PD. We had to have HVAC work done. And these are just all like one-time costs that are not just ongoing expenses for the new building.
And it's not maintenance that you don't have to do it.
Right. But if it applies to the building and grounds at either location, that the expense line would have to take account.
The last thing was under your ordinance to amend this, I just touched on the town hall principal, 198,000. And then, of course, I read through it and I saw the rest of it, so there's a $46,000 difference in there, and that's about it.
Right.
So really, that's all we have to add to it. I mean, there's a lot going in, a lot going out, but the bottom line is it's only 46 grand difference, so.
No, if you keep on turning,
Oh, I don't
the
want
last
that.
page, it all equals out.
I thought I had heard it, no.
No, it all equals out.
Okay,
I won't do a budget amendment for it.
okay,
Money in, money out.
right, yep, all right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for putting up with it.
You will.
Now, to the
To the budget amendment.
budget amendment that we have to find out.
Do you have any questions in reference to that?
I don't have any questions of that.
I would make a motion, that we, approve budget amendment number 1 for the
Second.
Councilman Brown made the motion, Councilwoman Dobbins seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Okay.
Good evening, council. You have, some report with the planning department in front of you, if anyone have any questions. Not been a lot of changes. We are down one staff member in the planning department now. That's why some of our numbers for the code enforcement violations and, zoning numbers are not as high as they normally are, because I have pulled my code enforcement officer to help some with some of the planning technicians. Yeah.
Is that working?
Are you open for questions, Wendy?
Mhm.
Okay. It's really pretty simple. I remember the last meeting, or the meeting before, we were talking about the cottages and how we may have to somehow dip into that 1.5 or whatever it was, the bond issue that because they weren't responding. Now they've responded to your liking.
I did get a call that they were on site, and I went out there and met with the site superintendent. He is there to complete everything on that punch list in that subdivision, with the exception of the fence in between Ives Landing and the cottages. So I have sent yet another email to the developer specifically asking about the fence.
Very good.
So, the gentleman I spoke with, River Wild, that's the company doing the work out there right now, 10 to 12 days probably, depending on the weather. They were converting stormwater ponds over, they took all of the stops out of the inlets.
Sewer thing.
And they are also going to add the sidewalk that needs to be added, and they're going to fix the sidewalk that was left off because service meters were put where the sidewalk should have been. So they're going to fix all of that. So everything should be addressed. He's going to call me when he's finished, and I'm going to walk through with him to make sure everything is complete.
Retention pond fencing.
That
I haven't
is
already-
on its way. Yes, that's on his list to be done as well.
One other thing about that. I just know I have the residents over there that come to me and ask about it, so I'm asking, for you.
Right, yeah, everything has been addressed, everything is on our final punch list, he had on his list of things to be done, with the exception of the fencing.
I do recall that. Could you, can I do it now? I know that watching them having built that place over a couple of years and watching the runoff, and I know that those drains one of them had a tree growing out of it, so I know there's dirt and everything else in there. So in view of the fact that we're gonna have to take over all of that stuff, are they going in there and blowing all that stuff out? and cleaning it?
Yes, once they pulled everything up, they're gonna flush the drain system completely, and then they're going to convert the stormwater ponds over. That way, any of the dirt or silt that washes out of that system into the pond, they'll be able to get all of that out and leave it in pristine condition when they're finished.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. That's all.
Anyone else have a question for me?
We are now getting ready for our community market. The first one will be on April 6th, along with a food truck rodeo. We invite the food truck community market to the food truck rodeo. We've got 16 food trucks signed up so far. So 6, yeah, we're very excited. And we're still allowing them to come in, so we'll see how that goes, and we've still got, three return vendors, I believe, for the community market that have already signed up with me, as well as the community ones.
Emily, what's the fee for a food truck?
For a food truck to come into the community market, there's other food truck radio, no fees being charged for that. But we did it on a 3-tier system this year. Depending on if they're a gold, silver, or bronze vendor, but for a food truck, it's $100 for the entire season. For a gold vendor, the silver vendor is, $25 per market. The bronze vendor is $40 per market. The silver vendor has an early, they didn't have to have their application in by certain times, so they get a discount rate.
Okay. How many days are we gonna have this month? Project?
14.
Okay. All right. That's all. Thank you.
And then I've got 2 applications in the packet, one, it is in the universe.
Before we ask, a real quick thing on the application for the events committee. Is there not, I'm happy to see them, but is there not a requirement that they're at least within the ETJ, nothing like that? In other words, somebody from Roanoke, Virginia could theoretically apply to them on the events committee.
I don't think they would want to do that, but
I'm just using that as an example, extreme example, but nonetheless, it shows that somebody's outside of the
what we are trying to do, and I'm as a feeling, is to make sure that the people are interested in what's going on, you know.
Okay.
And that's our goal.
And I'm not completely sure on this one, I'm gonna be able to, put it on this, but I think this is a community and not a board. I don't know, so that,
It does, and you also talked about this, I think, when we were talking about the strategic plan and the community engagement, as long as someone, I mean, the applications are coming to you for appointments, so if you see on the application that they have a, I don't want to say legitimate, that doesn't sound like the right word. A good reason for wanting to be on the events committee, which these 2 that have applied work with the rugby club, and obviously we work very closely with them in our events. So even though they don't live in town on the ETJ, they have a lot of really good input on what's done with the events. I mean, if somebody from Virginia came in and wanted to be on the events committee and they've never attended anything and don't have any kind of affiliation with you as a council could say, no.
But now remember, these 2, you know, the rugby club is using, I would say, I don't know how that's agreed with the word.
We're in a contract with.
Yeah, they are using the park, our community park, to have their practices and stuff, and eventually want to use it as to have their games. And so I think it would be nice for them to be on the event committee about playing stuff.
They also, work very closely with the events committee on like coordinating their events with our events so that each one of them draws people from the other. So that was.
It being a committee and not a board, that they don't really have any kind of authority to do anything or make decisions on behalf of the town.
No, I mean, they're,
They're advisory only.
right, they come together to plan the events, and it has to be within budget and within our.
We've got 2 nominees, and they need to be voted on second.
I make a motion we approve the appointment of Ted Hardy to the Wilson Mills Events Committee.
Made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilman Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Make a motion we approve the application to join the Wilson Mills Events Committee for Mr. Peter Mallett.
Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilman Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Tell them welcome.
oh, and also, I forgot to mention, you can, completely online for all of our applications for, the community market, food truck regulators, and things. I know some of you may be asked how they apply. We do have paper copies too, so then we thought to do that. We decided to do that in the contract.
Emily, regarding the events committee, can you get this application online or you have to come to town hall?
Yes, sir, it's online.
It's
It's
online.
online and, these two actually, I emailed it to them, but it is online.
I'm just saying, the gentleman that spoke earlier, if you decide you'd like to consider the events committee, you can get the application online. Go through it like this, okay?
Thank you.
The chief is not here. I hope. We're not aware. Chief's out there. We chiefs.
Yes, exactly.
Conference.
Got a copy of the report.
Turn your microphone.
Got a copy of the report, if you have any questions.
Sergeant, Barton's not here, but on the chart that he put for us, I've just highlighted a couple of things. He forgot to include in there where it says, chart title.
Okay.
That's got to be highlighted, and so it's got a title to it, and underneath the graphic, chart, I know he can change where it says the blue is series 1 and the red is series 2. If he could indicate what those series are for. Okay, yeah, thank you. Other than that, we're getting to the point where I really, really like to thank you. We're not looking for an award here, thanks.
Dave, is it coming on code that you can follow?
The council, if there's any questions about my report?
I like the new, it's new. It's great, I like it.
I haven't really got.
I like it. No, I'm just saying. No, it really is good job.
I get back on the day and say earlier about inclement weather and trees and stuff like that. We're gonna get through it on one day. We're gonna get back. We're gonna do a dump truck, hopefully, as of now, the fire department should be the DOT, but the fire department covers most of your down trees on your roadways. Been like that for years. Should it be like that? No, because I think the DOT should be able to come out with everything we can get. But it's going to get to the point where families have to come up with that stuff. So that's stuff that we need to be looking at whenever we come up with our budget. So we've got to do right now. But look how big the town is getting. It's all the streets that are coming into the town. The town's big farm, but it trees. And that's where your equipment stuff will come in. So we have to look at that too. But as of right now, 99% of the time the fire department can handle it unless it's 100-year-old budget.
Is there somewhere, I know we're going to do something with budget, but I know a little like about new equipment because it's got warranty and all that stuff, but it's not got a nice price tag attached to it. Do they typically have a market for used products like this, maybe warranty?
There's a website called Boom Bucket. They have like a bucket truck, so they have equipment and all that, but I've been trying to keep an eye on it.
Okay,
And try to look at it sometimes. And last week we actually bought 27 trees out there. Up the town hall driveway.
we're on 27,
27 trees up the driveway last week.
on the driveway home. Oh, Bradley,
But
yeah. Well, that's probably a good thing. We did.
it was a 27 last week we lost. I think we lost close to probably 50 or 60 though.
Wow. So you are going to bring this up in the budget. You'll have to see what we can come up with. Good.
You're gonna give us a big one, but it's not.
This couple of things.
Any questions? for Patrick?
Yeah, real quick, I saw over here, you took classes to retain the pesticide license. But I also saw a line item on, Ms. Sherry's budget, she's not here now, but I saw a line item there for, pesticide. Somebody come around, I guess that's somebody come around and spray. Would your pesticide license in fact cover that?
My spray more like for the herbicide stuff, the weeds and all that. I've never taken classes.
Or insects and stuff like that? Okay, two different things. Thank you.
I do herbicide and insecticide.
Okay. I knew I had a question. Thank you.
Anyone?
Actually, before you go, I just want to say that like all the town folks, thank you, just looking at this report, you respond to animal control, you replace tires, you unclog sewers, you replace signs. Jack of all trades, thank you for what you do and helping the rest of the town. Be the town, but thank you for what you do, because I know you probably the first one that a lot of folks call when they need some help. But thank you for what you do, so thank you.
Does anyone have any comment? Councilman?
I would just say that, you know, my time here on this county. I think, but I'm just gonna say, we have an awesome town employees that run this town from day to day. Thank you for what you guys do. It doesn't go on unpunished. Thank you.
They know I said that, so I go, my arm, and you know, so now I just got it. We do have a woman to say. Anybody else want to say anything? At this time, I'll open our second open forum. Anybody wishing to comment, please come forward. State your name, your address. Then each comment from. No one wishing to come forward, I'm close the forum.
Like, not to adjourn. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Jones, and seconded by Councilman McGowan, all in favor.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?